We change the future by the questions that we ask. We don't need to know the answers. We just need to start asking different questions. What happens when we start getting curious with our kids instead of going into judgment so quickly? 9 out of 10 times, I think I know the answer of something my kid's going through, and I'm tempted to want to give it. And I have trained myself to ask 3 questions before I even go there. And when I ask the questions, I actually find out, dang, they're way smarter than I thought they were, than I gave them credit for, regardless of age, right? I'm like, and 2, I love learning how they think. Like seeing their wheels turn and seeing how they process.
That kind of ties into this, MAGIC as an acronym, right? So I believe M is for model, and then you also have an acronym for, AGIC. Walk us through that a little bit.
Affirm, Grace, Inquire, Coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
Perfect. So walk us through each of these. Like, why are each of these, these 5 pillars of, creating mom magic important to the mom? What would you say there?
Yeah, and so it's funny because I wrote the book, 5 principles to unlock your natural gifts to raise entrepreneurial daughters. Just because the stories in the book are girl stories, because I have 4 daughters, and yet what I love about principles is that they're just that, they're principles, whether it's a girl, a boy, a mom, or dad, an 80-year-old, an 8-year-old, they all apply. So I looked at what are the things that we've done in our home that have made a difference. This isn't the kind of book you pick up and you're like, okay, 1, 2, 3, if I do these steps, I'm going to be a great parent. It's a book about how do we open up a conversation around how we can parent intentionally. So modeling, right? Like we've been talking about. What do I want to model for my kids? I want them to be happy. Am I modeling being happy? What are the other things that I want my kids to be? And how am I modeling those things today? Am I the kind of adult that I want my child to be? A is for affirm. There's so many ways to see affirmations. There's the traditional sense of, I am smart, I'm kind, I'm good, I'm loved. Like those words that we use that are really important. Where are the other places that are having an effect via affirmation? It could be the music that we're listening to. What about the people that we're hanging out with? Right? Those are all affirmations all day, every day. And those are really loud. Those are really loud things, the music, the friends. And how about the voice that's in our own head? How are we consciously training our own thoughts, our own voice, and teaching our kids about how to manage what's going on for them? Because, I was a communications major in college, but like nobody taught me how to talk to myself. That would have been a really valuable class, right? Like it's not a subject that we cover. G is grace. And that's what we were talking about with like self-care, self-compassion. Like what does mom need to refuel? Because I think there are a lot of things that we consider luxuries as moms that are actually maintenance, because we'll take our car to get the oil change when the little red light comes on, or hopefully sooner. But definitely when the red light comes on, it's like, oh, got to get the oil changed. So we go take it in to get changed. Yet moms look at things like, well, I want to get a massage or go to the chiropractor or get my hair done or get my nails done. And we see those things as luxuries, or taking vitamins, or, getting the green juice or the organic food or whatever it is for you. But I'm like, what if we have it all wrong? What if those are just maintenance items? That's not a luxury. Like we need those things to like keep ourselves fueled to keep going because we run ourselves so hard. So what does grace look like in that? And what we were talking about earlier, of like as husbands, as partners, how can you support the women to go do those things and not make her feel bad for it? Right? Yeah, those things cost money and they're worth it. They're maintenance things. We do those maintenance things to our house all the time. And you do it because it has to be done. Our compressor on our freezer just went out in our kitchen. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna get that fixed. It's a maintenance item. You don't think about it, you just make it happen. So what would it look like to put a spa day in her calendar once every 6 weeks? Just as a, hey, you're worth it. Because a lot of times I think there's a self-worth issue attached to like, yeah, but I could use that money for Johnny to go to summer camp. I could use that money for this over here. Yeah. And what if we made that a line item in our family budget to take care of mom, because mom's worth taking care of, and that dad elevates that in the home. The I is for inquire. we change the future by the questions that we ask. We don't need to know the answers. We just need to start asking different questions. What happens when we start getting curious with our kids instead of going into judgment so quickly? 9 out of 10 times, I think I know the answer of something my kid's going through, and I'm tempted to want to give it. And I have trained myself to ask 3 questions before I even go there. And when I ask the questions, I actually find out, dang, they're way smarter than I thought they were, than I gave them credit for, regardless of age, right? I'm like, and 2, I love learning how they think, like seeing their wheels turn and seeing how they process, because if I can influence how they think, not what they think, I'm going to feel way more confident about releasing them out into the world. So asking different questions. And then C is for coach. And I actually talk about the distinction in the book between a coach, a consultant, and a mentor, because I think we collapse all of those and sometimes use those interchangeably, where a mentor is somebody that comes into your life, maybe has done something that you want to do, and it's like, hey, here's my experience, hope it's helpful, good luck. A consultant is somebody that you would bring in to say, hey, like, look at the issues, give me the strategies. What are the problems that you see? And they say, hey, here's some options. Good luck. A coach is the only one that actually has a vested interest in how the outcome of the game works. Like, they want to win the game. They are vested in that. And as a mom, as a parent, I think we get to be coach from 0 to 18. Once they leave the house, if we've done our job well, they will come back to us as a consultant. They will come back to us for mentorship. But we have to earn the opportunity for those things to happen through being coach. And I think what moms need to know is, Mom, you're the best coach for your kid just by virtue of the fact that God gave you them as a kid. You don't need to go outsource the coaching to all of these other people that you think are experts. Like, God gave you this kid, like, you're the best coach. Now start showing up like one.
This is so good. I'm loving every second of this. I'm taking so many notes. I can't wait to introduce my wife to this episode, Alyce. So thank you so much. I'll have to think of a way to do it in a way that's not like patronizing, like, you need to listen to this. So I'll think of that. But I mean, just all the things you're talking about. Am I the adult that I want my kids to become, right? Like, really modeling that, looking at this idea of maintenance versus luxury, and understanding, like, no, like, when you take care of yourself, that's not something that's optional, right? Just like getting the oil changed on a car. And then really looking at, we change the future by the questions we ask. I mean, there's so much good stuff that you said there. So listener, if you need to go back and listen to that, make sure you do, because Alyce just dropped some really great stuff there.